Hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Heart Aligned Business Alchemy workshops. I'm Jon Binnie, your spiritual psychic mentor here in Bonnie, Scotland. And I'm excited to take you through today some exciting topics. And so let me just share my correct screen with you. Let's just try that again. So I've been very busy and I have created some content for you today. Now, you've asked about boundaries specifically, and I'm excited to share a bit more about something new I developed yesterday, especially for today's show. And it is called the Love Matrix, which I'll come on to in a moment. Okay, so let me share this screen. As a quick recap, these Heart Aligned Business Alchemy workshops are all about helping empower you to build your own heart aligned business, often a spiritual business or business in the spiritual or holistic domains. And what we've done so far, so if you look at the description of today's video, you can see that there's a playlist right at the top, and it describes, has a playlist, it's actually a YouTube course of all of the different videos to support you on your business journey. So to recap the story so far, we have identified your mission, your North Star, and also I've presented and been teaching all the way through and continue to do it today, the self-love approach to business. Also, we've connected in with your future self and learned how to receive your dream life. And that includes, visiting your future self and experiencing those feelings like, how does it feel in the future? And bringing those feelings into the present. We've also been facing fears of the dark side of business. And also, we've been through a 5D ascension class to help activate your superpowers. And then we also focused on your business offerings and superpowers. So I actually did about 3 sessions of those, including channeling my own new service, which was the Heart Aligned Business. No, it was the Heart Chakra Dragon Fire Activation Service. Also, I've had Jovi Channels and Chloe Rose on, helping them create and channel their own services. And also, we had a session dedicated to pricing your own business offerings. And then last week, we focused all on abundance and flow. So it was all about what if you need more bookings? What if you need more client bookings? What are the things you can do? And to some extent, today's session is an expansion on that. We will be covering a lot more breadth, and also we'll be focusing a bit more energy onto business boundaries and why they're important to help cultivate safety and how it feels safe in your heart to be able to receive more business that's aligned with your heart. Okay, so introducing the Love Matrix. So maybe you've heard of the Dark Matrix or the 9 to 5 Matrix, and you could describe these as concepts, as systems of control that are fear-based systems of control that keep a lot of our planet still in what I would describe as salary slavery, like controlling us with fear, keeping us like constantly feeding the systems and the machine instead of ourselves and supporting each other. So I will be presenting the Love Matrix, which is a counter to the Dark Matrix, the Matrix of Fear. And the Love Matrix is all about the key aspects to what's made my business the success it is today. And I hope that you find it helpful. Now, I have included a link. You can see if you look over in the live stream, and please say hello. Thank you for joining the live stream. In the live stream, I've included a link. So it's a template that I've created that you can also access the Love Matrix from. So let me just bring it up on screen and I'll start taking us through it. So the idea is with this that you can take a copy yourself, download it and start populating it. And effectively what it is a very large spreadsheet. In part, that's why it's called a matrix. And instead of really, it's not something I'm trying to create to constrain or control you. It's more of, if anything, more of a checklist that you can work through and you can start to feel into, do you have the sufficient building blocks in your business to be able to support yourself on your journey? So some of these, hi Samara Love, 2250. Thank you for joining. Some of these aspects we've just covered, right? So everything that's been leading up in the previous videos that we've been doing on the Heartline Business Alchemy, do look at that playlist. If any of these areas that I'm covering in a moment stand out to you, please do go into those videos and take a look. So that's in the playlist in the description. So let's get on with the first area. Now I've tried to make the screen as big as I can for you guys. I'm just going to try. Yeah, I think I'm not going to play with it. That's about as big as we're going to get. Don't worry if you can't read it. The text quite small. I will be talking us through it. Okay, and I have an extra computer monitor to the left of me, so I'm just going to be staring at that as we go through. Okay, so life mission. Why is it important? Why do I start with life mission? Why is it important for your business? It's important because it's as a title does, the guiding stars, your guiding stars. So whenever I'm doing anything, whenever I'm making any decisions in my business, I always go back to my life mission and I check in on it. As a reminder, I've taken the first sentence, so I encourage you to just take the first sentence of your life mission, and I've said my mission is to support our ascension into a world of free will, peace, equality, abundance, compassion, forgiveness, sovereignty, unity, unconditional love, with darkness and light. And then it goes ... because there is a second sentence. And if you want to visit more, read more of that, you'll see there's a reference just to the right there. You can go and visit my future press release FAQ. It's also on the homepage of my website. So every single thing you see in this love matrix is aligned with that mission. And if it's not, why don't you call me out? Why don't you let me know in the live chat, the comments? Also, feel free to share your life mission as well. So personal tenets. So tenets are the TENETS, tenets. These are really a way of prioritizing two different things. So for example, it's wonderful having this love matrix and this life mission. But what about me? What about Jon? What about my life, my family, my work-life balance? So I have said here, just select your top 4 personal tenets. And I won't read them all out, but you can read them they're on the on this link in my website, my Future Pure FAQ. And I also do update these regularly. In fact, I've just updated in the last few weeks my mission. And then yesterday I was tweaking these as well for my personal tenets. So these are the trade-offs against my mission. So for example, I say my health, my self-love, my self-care comes first every day over the demands of my business and mission. I fill my cup until my self-love and abundance of all forms, including financial, is overflowing first, so that I, and I am my business, is able to help thousands of people. And then it goes on to explain more about my energy and a bit more about my fantastical life and my how many days a week I'll work up to. And I say work up to, I was working far too much. So I've been reducing that over time just to help balance those two out. So that's really key. The first two things of the love matrix are getting that mission and the work-life balance sorted out. And imagine if we did that for the whole world, right? It would just be such a revolution for the world. The next is connecting with my future life. So I noted some of my future life emotions. And why are they important? They're important because emotions are the gravitational pull from any aspect of your existence, your consciousness. And so, for example, if you're pulling these emotions, you from them and them to you into your future dream life, then it's the most attractive part. It's the biggest vibrational match. So I noted these emotions of how it felt when I went to my future dream life. Um, and actually, this was recently updated just at the end of January with a wonderful, truly transformational session from Chloe Rose, who gave me a Live Your Fantastical Life session. Highly recommend Chloe Rose. Please do check out her work. And I've got an announcement about Chloe and I later in this live stream, so stick around for that. So the emotions I noted are unlimited joy, fantastical, freedom, presence, unity, heart chakra sensitivity, activated. So these are emotions that really stood out to me. And so these are the emotions that I'm feeling pulled into in my future dream life. Okay, facing fears. Good news, right? Facing fears is a journey that never really ends. I would argue that it gets easier. And many of us spend our lives avoiding fears. So we often have a lot of fear debt to face. I certainly did. Now I find it much easier. I have a regular practice. I do it every week. And I noted here the current, so as of the 17th of March, the current fears, the current top three fears that are kind of opposing to my dream life. One is fear of lack of abundance. I feel like I'm really close to just letting that go. But it's been a multi-year, maybe multi-generational ancestral wound for me to work through. There's also fear of letting go of people in lower vibes. So people that are choosing fear or people that are behaving in fearful ways. And then also fear of reducing my working hours. So there's some connections to productivity, lack of self-worth, just allowing myself to find that right balance and reduce my hours to a sustainable pace for many years to come. Okay, and superpowers. Uh, and if you are a follower of Chloe Rose on YouTube, um, she's doing a daily challenge of fantastical sharing her fantastical life every day for 88 days, and they're YouTube shorts. um and so she did this long list of all her superpowers, and I'd argue she has an even longer list in reality, so maybe we'll see a part two. This is just choosing your top three, and I'll come on to why this is important. So imagine what we've just done. We've done the facing the fears, future life emotions. And now we're saying, well, what are your superpowers, Jon? And so my superpowers are really the things I'm doing most days now. So they are quantum psychic energy healings, readings and clearings, spiritual YouTube videos and live streams. I do a lot of videos every day. I'm doing at least 1, 2, 3 videos, live streams about 5 hours a week, including this. And I love doing mentoring and teaching. So these are the things that they fill me full of joy, right? I don't look at any of those superpowers and go, oh, and that thing, right? These are genuinely aspects of my life, the dream life that I always wanted and I absolutely love. So quick recap. We've done your guiding stars. We've done the life mission, your personal talents, the tenets that balance out your life mission and your life, your personal life, because remember, you are your business. And then your future life emotions. So these emotions that grab you from your future and pull you into your dream life. Facing fears, so the blockages that you're overcoming, these things you're facing. Oh, and hello to Viviane Heller. Just mentioning live streams. I'm live every Monday and Thursday with the incredible Viviane Heller, and she also does her own amazing live streams too. So facing fears, and then your superpowers. Get really clear on what your superpowers are. And I share all this so transparently and publicly because I would also encourage you to share, especially those top things, your guiding stars, share them with others, lead by example, and say to other people in the world, say to your clients, potential clients, say, you know what? Here's all the things I'm in this for. I'm in this reality. I'm in this business for these guiding stars. So if you don't align with them, that's okay. Go and find someone else who you do feel aligned with, And for those of you that do feel aligned, welcome aboard. Welcome. Okay, next. So this is, I'm in the UK, right? I'm in Scotland. So this next short one is a couple of checks. One is details of your company. So you can choose, in the UK, you can choose to be a sole trader. I think if you earn anything over £1,000 or £2,000 a year, you can create a limited company or a partnership. I think it's called a limited liability partnership, or LLP. I chose a limited company. So I created Heart Centered Wellness Limited. It has an employee of me, one person. And there's a little link to the company house registry where you can see my company over there. And I'll come on to a bit more about that as we get through, like, why did I have to create a company? Why did I choose that? And then secondly, also only in the UK, but it doesn't matter who you're doing work for around the world. So at least half of my clients are North America, so the US and Canada. In the UK, if your company earns over a certain threshold, you have to register for value added tax. So I have to pay 17.5% tax on the gross sales. So that figure that you see any figure that you see on my website says including price include VAT, which I also by law have to state. And then no matter which country I'm selling my services to, I have to pay the UK government 17.5% of the total sale, regardless of any costs that I incur. So I share those because they are important things, especially when I come on to talking about scaling. So we'll talk about that shortly. Okay, your marketing. Well, welcome. Guess what, guys? You're here on my marketing stream. So if you wonder why I spend a lot of time and energy on YouTube, it's because, well, first of all, I love it, right? So do choose a channel through which there's so many different ways you can market. You can do email, you can do social media posts, you can do paper, you can do in-person advertising, you can do events, masterclasses. It's a long list, right? For me, what I'd say in the Love Matrix is just states like your primary channel. So where's the place that you put the most effort? For me, I choose a YouTube channel. I also might surprise you, I post daily, yes, daily, on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and LinkedIn. In part because it's very easy for me to do, and secondly because I get some interest in it. And to be honest, I'm just helping stir up the energy a bit on those platforms with my work, especially posting on my psychic work and sometimes songs on LinkedIn, which I think is really funny. Okay, what is my most popular content? Well, my most popular content is, first of all, my podcasts, predictions videos, spiritual awakening videos, and teaching. So they're often the recorded videos. Second to those so they can often get into the thousands of views. The live streams that I do, often into the hundreds and sometimes thousands. And I feel the live streams are a lovely way of giving back, and also demonstrating my superpowers. So remember, when you're learning how to do something, right? You're learning how to build a business. Show the world your superpowers. So that's a big reason. And it did take me some courage, and a big thanks to Viviane Heller, who's here in the live stream. Viviane's been a huge support in helping me overcome doing exactly the sort of thing I'm doing just now, getting confident in doing live streams and videos and sharing. Okay. And thirdly, psychic tree talks are my third most popular content. And it's something about nature and talking with trees. And maybe it's a superpower. Maybe I know lots of people can talk with trees, and I'd encourage you to do so as well. If I was to say a fourth, it's probably pictures of Patch, my papillon, who's downstairs at the moment, patiently waiting on my wife and son to come back from school. And then, so having a regular stream of constantly sharing your work, your superpowers, really, really powerful. What it's going to do is you remember, when you're doing the things that fill your heart with joy, and I hope you feel it when you come into this live stream, is that I just love doing this work. I really love it. I've been excited about this actually for a couple of weeks now. And yesterday I was so excited. I spent, most of the day. I could have just sat around doing nothing and relaxing and receiving, which is also a huge part of my week. I thought, no, I feel really excited about today's live stream. It feels really important to share all this with you. So in that stream, so my primary social media content and the most popular content, these are the ways that I'm sharing with you my superpowers, my joy, my happiness, and my journey. And so for me, it's so important that I do this on a regular basis. I avoid as much as possible being a slave to the algorithm. Platforms like YouTube will try and entrap you to constantly tell you that you're not doing enough and you need to post more and all this stuff. Like my advice is find the right cadence for you. And this might shock you, right? Shock is there's a lot of stuff I don't post about. There's a lot of stuff that happens in my personal life. There's a lot of things I'm going through right now in my life that I will not share publicly. And just because I post, whatever it is, an hour or two of content each day, there's still a lot of the day, right, that happens in my life that I just don't share. And I like that. I like being open and honest and transparent, but also not to. I'd never want to erode or breach the trust of my friends and family, loved ones, etc. And then also client testimonials. So I actually have a web page dedicated to testimonials. I have a couple of playlists as well. And what's wonderful about client testimonials is what I do is I constantly add to them whenever someone gives me some text. I add it to the web page. I invite the feedback after every session that I do, one-to-one session, and I do at the moment about 4 sessions a week. And any videos that I have, I post onto my YouTube channel. These are videos where consent has been given. And really the biggest testimonials are just showing people what I do, right? So just turning up um and showing you, right? Rather than have other people talk about it. It's lovely, absolutely lovely having clients share their experiences, and the energy of that is so powerful and I feel endearing, especially as you get started. So I found, especially when I was starting out my business, every time I advertised, I would always share some testimonials at the same time that were relevant to what I was advertising. Okay. How do clients get started with you, right? So the traditional marketing funnel, which is often like a V shape, um, I don't really resonate with, but I get like the general idea. The reason I don't really resonate with the idea of a funnel is because life isn't a funnel. Life's not linear. People don't follow linear patterns. You may be one of my clients. I consider the whole world a client. If you turned up in my live stream or you're watching this in the replay, you're a client. Whether you pay me or not, I consider you one of my clients. And so this is how I reach people, is primarily through YouTube. I also have a newsletter, which I come on to later. Um, and in the engagement, I'm always like when I'm showing you doing my superpower, I'm such as in a video or a live stream, I'm encouraging you always to then take one next step. So the next step is my free 14-day Spirit Guide Meditation Challenge. There's also the Get Started with Jon, right? And that Get Started with Jon is a dedicated page on my website. And it takes you through a journey of those free meditations, the 5D Ascension classes. You could book a one-to-one session. You could go on and do training and all the different offerings. You can also try my broad range I've got, I don't even know how many now, free meditations, many, and then also some longer paid for ones as well. So they're all the main ways that you can start to begin your journey with me. And for those who really want to invest in themselves, there's also my mentoring packages as well. So the primary ways clients get to know you are also a way of describing what do you share with others that help people really get to know what's unique about you. So beyond seeing you doing your superpowers, like I describe it as how do you open your heart to the world? So for me, it's my daily meditation videos. I share my hi, it's Jon videos each morning. They come from my daily meditation practice and the messages I receive from my spirit guides. So you're getting a little window into, what's going on in my daily psyche and what I'm receiving from my guides. I also create. I usually try and take a day off a week, so about 6 days a week, I'm doing creating a channeled song from those messages, doing 3 streams a week, so 2 with Viviane Heller on Mondays and Thursdays, and then this one on a Tuesday. And I also do psychic tree talk videos and predictions once a week. So psychic tree talks often on a Wednesday. And I did used to do a lot of kind of just walking the dog around my local streets. And as things got bigger and scaled more, I decided not to be quite so revealing to my neighborhood. um, However, I just bring in those personal aspects of what's going on in my life, into these other areas, including songs, including live streams, including this video here. Okay, so that's all like how do clients get started with you? And um, YouTube's great because at the end of the videos, you might even get it at the end of this live stream. You can add in, links in your descriptions. You can add in the next on a playlist, the next link you can click on. And I always use these like getting started with Jon as like that kind of hook to the next stage. So that kind of idea of a hook and a sales funnel's very traditional. For me, I don't consider it like multi-stage or anything. I'm not trying to take people through a conversion funnel. What I also really want to do is engage with you, show you my open heart, show you my superpowers, and then at any time you get to come in and out of engaging with me, and whether it's free services or paid for services, and it's totally up to you. And I love that mix. And I love it when, someone's purchased a one-to-one session and we're talking about free content together. Like it's because I've been such a consumer of free content from others that I value it so much. And so I always put my highest quality work into my free content just as much as I do my paid for content. Okay, your website. So I actually started out with a milkshake website. If you need any, if you're interested in overcoming some of those challenges of building a website, it did occur to me to do a little video. I could try and build like a Jon Binnie website from scratch in an hour. That would be quite good fun to do for free. So that'd be great fun to try out. For me, I started with Milkshake, which is a free website platform, and then I moved on to Wix, Wix. So if you go to jonbinnie.com, that's what you'll see. I've also, it's over a year and a half now, I've had mobile apps for that website. So I have a native Google Play Store app. It's called Heart Centered Wellness Limited, and it's been a year and a half of turmoil with Apple, and I'm feeling close now to getting it launched for iOS natively, so to turn up in the App Store as Heart Centered Wellness Limited. Do you really need an app? No. Did I really need an app? Probably not. Why did I go ahead and create one? Well, because in part it was the geek in me, and I knew I could technically do it. Also, I wanted to support the scaling, and I know that my website skills aren't quite as finessed as perhaps things feel a lot easier to use on the apps, and I know most of you access through my website on mobile as well. So another key aspect, if you've got a website, my approach is very much get yourself out there using your social media, right? So just do videos like this, right? I never edit my live streams, clearly. I mean, you can't. I never edit I never edit the things like the long form videos I'm doing. So when you come to my website, I don't need to tell you lots of stuff, right? You just need to know there's a photo of me, what my mission is, and how to book me. So that's literally the focus of my homepage. So I have picture of Jon, my mission, that text you saw at the top, and then also I have a book now button, and that takes you. So there's a deep link, a one-click Amazon style. No coincidence. I used to work for Amazon. So Amazon style, inspired by Amazon, and it takes you straight into the most popular session I offer, one-to-one session, which is a quantum psychic healing session, and that allows you to just go straight in and select the date and time. And I've had sometimes I get flurries of bookings, and people just want to make sure they've got to the right website, that it's you definitely, and they want to get that date and time secured as soon as possible. I also offer a donations button. This still blows my mind, donations. And what I love about donations are that you open yourself up to receive. So imagine having I'm just turning on my studio heating with my phone, because I'll be going to my studio for one-to-one session after this live stream. Yeah, donations are a great way of receiving. And thank you so much for all your donations. So I have a donate button on the homepage of my website. Definitely encourage you to have one yourself. Okay, so that's your website. There's lots of other things you can do in your website. Let me know if you're interested in me creating a video for building a new website from scratch. In the last video, we covered the website, so I'm not going to, and we will be touching a bit more on it when we get into boundaries as well. Okay, let me just check how many we've got to go. Okay, still plenty to get through. So I've got 60 cells to get through. Okay, Jon, sorry, 60 rows to get through. We can do it, Jon. So business offerings, and these have all evolved over time. And I'd encourage you to do the same. Choose one or two or three that really stand out to you. The way I do it is I first of all focus on the client problem that my offering should address. So this kind of template I use is the structure I use is I always start my services with "Do you feel?" So I'm asking my client, "Do you feel?" And then I describe the problems, especially including the emotions of what you face. And this forms the why you'd be interested in paying me for that service. And then I explain in the service what I offer and how it helps you address your problems. So for example, are you feeling blocked? Are you feeling that you're stuck in fear? Do you feel that you're wanting to develop your psychic abilities? Like do you feel stuck and want to connect with your spirit guides, or do you want an introduction to your spirit guides? So these are all problems that everyone faces, or many people face. And so the idea is that you can read my service and go, oh yeah, that's this guy, Jon Binnie, whoever he is, he seems to be able to offer something that's useful for me. So in other words, rather than just say, I don't just rely on the term quantum psychic healing, like what even does that mean? Well, it's even before the concept of quantum healing, I think even before I'd heard of it, I just called my work quantum healing. I'm self-taught over about the last 4 or 5 years. So it's just what I title my work. Here, I also put in my top 3 services. They are most popular: quantum psychic healing. The second runner-up, and this is very new, it just came out this year, is the Heart Chakra Dragonfire activation. With a good dragon roar for at least an hour through that session. And then thirdly, my negative entity clearing and soul retrievals. So get clear on what are the top 3 things that you really want to share with people. You can have as many services as you like, but try and keep things simple. And especially when you're pitching or selling the idea of working with you, try not to give like a massive restaurant menu. Try and keep things aligned with your superpowers. And for these services, for each of them, I also offer remote recorded sessions where I don't need to attend live in Zoom. I can do it as a recording. I also record the live ones too. So I offer that option when people are booking. I also offer in-person sessions for quantum psych healing, psychic reflexology foot massage and psychic Swedish massage since I qualified in those last year. Um, Also have a think about the different packages. So it's great doing lots of one-to-one sessions, but what if you want to start mentoring people? Well, packages and discounts for packages. So by package, I mean, having a page where you share a one-to-one offering, for example, and you could buy, I have one that is buy three and get one of them at 50%, or it's the three for the price of 2.5. There's also other offers available on that page. So have a think about those and what you want to structure. Mine have changed over time, and I encourage you to evolve yours. Mentoring sessions are also a great way. I sell a lot less of those. However, I love them. I adore doing mentoring. I love taking people again and again through. Um, so I love, for example, the taking someone through 6 sessions and then having a structure to it, like taking people on a journey and having a really clear vision about what they want to achieve. And I've also sold 12 sessions as well, and I have some of those coming up. If you've booked with me for this year, I've got a few mentoring packages going on, so that's really exciting. I've mentioned live streams and demoing your superpowers. So these are a great way of really demonstrating to others what you're doing. And you can offer it, for some people, they do charge, right? Some people choose to have members own the live streams. Some people choose to do donations only, so you must donate before you get a reading or request. For me, I absolutely love doing it for free and then an optional donation, because well, frankly, I feel like I get paid enough through the other work that I don't need to have to charge you. And I always want to be offering something for free to everybody, right? So the universe always has a way, regardless of money, of receiving some of my superpowers. Also, I have a free meditation. So free services is just such a great way of getting people used to working with your energy. Meditations are a very intimate thing, right? So if you can get into someone's daily meditation practice, even if like mine are just for the first 2 weeks, they get a taste of what it's like to work with you. I also offer premium meditations. At times they've had great sales. I would say now they're sporadic, and I'm quite comfortable with that. I quite like the idea of investing an hour of time creating a low cost meditation, 22 Great British pounds, including VAT, for one of my premium meditations. I've also experimented in the past with a membership group. They're a lot of fun, and depending on especially your social aspects of yourself and your social batteries, you might really love doing memberships. I've now shrunk one down to just a Heart Aligned Business Alchemy membership with just 4 people that I'm mentoring. So, and it's capped at 4 at this time. So I really love keeping things small and close and supporting a small number of people. Training courses, they're a huge investment, and yet they're so rewarding. I love doing training courses. So I have taken 40 people through my Higher Self foundational training. I also have an intermediate, and I'm just coming to the end. Actually, ends tomorrow is the advanced training, the first run of the advanced training. So there must be over 40 people total that have been through these training courses, and it's just exciting to be able to take people on their journeys and support them as best I can. I do like, one thing to consider is group sessions. I love doing group sessions for people. They're pretty ad hoc for me. And events, I do try and do events, especially to get Jon out of his hermit mode. So usually I do an event at least every 3 months. I did last one I did was a Halloween one, so I'm overdue to do one. However, I have been doing lots of psychic tree talk videos with people in person and some paranormal investigations as well. So not quite events, but they've been in-person collaborations to help me get out in the boot. Okay, regular cycles. So regular cycles, what are they? These are the things in your working patterns that can really help support your business. They're the kind of mechanisms. They're like the gears that that help things keep trucking in your business. So for me, I have the perfect working week pattern. So if you're curious about that, go back to the very first video in the Heart Aligned Business Alchemy playlist, and you'll see a template where I show you on screen my actual calendar, and I show you like it's a representation of it, but it's actually how I work to it. And it's just wonderful because it includes all the things that I need to do to balance out my workload. I can also use it for financial forecasts, so I can like have a bit of a guess about how much a weekly pattern would earn. It's never right, right? I don't actually use financial forecasts, but it gives you an idea. It's often too little, right? I often earn more money than I put there, thanks to you guys. And then you can also see that over time I've created different versions of that pattern as I've adjusted my pattern, which I'm reducing some of my uh, one-to-one sessions over time as well. I'll keep doing them probably forever, but and if anything, that's to help make sure I keep doing them forever. I do a weekly newsletter. I use MailChimp for that. There are other platforms you can use as well. I just sent one out this afternoon. They're a great way of engaging people. They have earned, if you believe the MailChimp kind of click-through links and analytics, I've earned thousands of pounds by people clicking on a weekly newsletter. So they're definitely worth doing. Frankly, I don't really care about how much they do or don't bring directly. I just really enjoy helping with the um, like remind people of my services, helping notify of news, such as the new show that I'll be doing every Tuesday with Chloe Rose. Spoiler alert. Um, and Teddy Transcends saying, John, thank you for everything you do and share. I'm so grateful. Do you have advice on what you'd suggest prioritizing for people with very high levels of fatigue? Yes, I do. And I'm going to come on to that. Let me just check. Yeah, I would say we're about to come on to that, Teddy. So thank you. And Teddy, you're not alone. That question is, and I would consider myself happy and healthy. However, I would also say that I also have a lot of clients who suffer from chronic fatigue, for example. And I describe, when I'm working too hard, when I'm doing too many client sessions, I definitely exhibit, significant energetic health problems. And the first is fatigue, the second is like dizziness. So these are like they are real, right? However, someone's being diagnosed or not, please do take great care of your energy, and we'll come on to that shortly. Monthly reflections. So in a monthly reflection, so every month you say, hi, it's John video, and I share how my month's been. So I share the reflections of my life and business. So it's not just all business, right? Because the two for me are intertwined. When you're a company of one person, everything's intertwined. So I talk about what went well, what I learned, and what actions I'm going to take next. I also give things like a life update and the kind of the public version of what's going on in my life as well. So I love, it's also a great way to get to know me. What I personally get from that is like taking stock and reflecting on what's gone well in my life, and what do I need to focus on next. Okay, monthly finances reviews. So I have an amazing accountant, Joanna. And if you want an introduction to Joanna, if you're in the UK and you want an introduction, just email me at info@jonbinnie.com. So Joanna, every month I send her PayPal and Stripe transactions, and also my balance statements, and we work through those together and do my books. So in the UK, I have to work out my UK business taxes, including VAT, corporation tax, and PAYE for employment and national insurance. And then I have to work out with Joanna my personal taxes, payments for salary, director dividends, because I'm an employee of one, I'm a director of one in my company, and also my pension. So these are all things that I need to do on a monthly basis. And it's so important. And I'll come on to why having a regular cadence, like a monthly flow review, even if you don't have your own company, like do these things, do your kind of personal versions of it. Quarterly review, I go in and update my mission and tenets, and that's really, really powerful and important. So I have a reminder in my calendar for that. And then in annual reflections, quite frankly, I remember very vividly May 31st, 2024, when I started my business. So it's not hard for me to remember as we come up on the second year of my business trading in May 31st, 2026. So I do a special video, I'll probably have some celebration. Maybe I'll have a party this year. So that's really exciting. Um, and yeah, Teddy Transcends is also saying, yeah, I'm disabled and experience very high levels of pain and fatigue. Trying to manage energy is challenging, and giving without overgiving is really challenging. Oh, thank you for sharing. Yeah, sending you so much love. That must be a really tough experience. So we'll come on to some practices that may help as well. Okay. So I just have about 10 more to go, and I really want to, spend a little bit more detail on these, especially around Teddy's perfectly timed comments as well. So first of all, these next steps. So all the stuff I've discussed above, they're kind of like the building blocks of a business. These next steps are about you. And if you don't get these bits right, all the other stuff doesn't matter, right? And somewhat like on the theme that Teddy's raised, is that without your happiness and health, your business doesn't exist, because you are your business. And what's the point in going into business if you create something you don't even like, right? And that, believe you me, is very easy to do. And there's been things I've created in my business that I didn't like, and I stopped them. So the first is, please do put your self-love and self-care first. And you might think, but that's the opposite to the way the rest of the world teaches. Exactly right. It's true. But remember, a company, a corporation will quite happily take the best years of your life, take your energy, right? As you trade what you think you're trading time, and really you're trading your energy and health for the company, and they will use you as much as they can. And then the moment you get sick or that you want to retire, you're gone. They'll replace you before you can even have a leaving party, right? So for me, the best evidence I have for my self-care and my self-love first is my weekly working pattern. So go and look at that first video in this playlist for the Heart Aligned Business Alchemy workshops, and you'll see I describe it in detail. I still use it to this day. I still look at it every day, and I look at my calendar, what my calendar really has, and then what that perfect weekly pattern looks like. So it includes that balance of my mission, and the majority of the time, and I know it might not feel like that from the outside. It might feel like I'm like some hyper focused, hyper productive guy, and that's definitely been the old me. I now have huge amounts of time. I don't work on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. And Mondays, I'm gradually eroding until one day, even my live stream will move to a Tuesday or Wednesday, or however I work it. And so I also have this this pattern where what I do is I balance out all that self-care and self-love. So I go camping, having time with my adventures with my family. I go camping at least once a week. I do my meditations every day, nature walks, music, family time. Every month or two, I go away traveling, adventures in multiple days. So they're my choices of self-care and self-love. Time with Patch, resting time. I spend a lot of time on the sofa as well. I know you might not think it to look at me. Next one is facing fears and blockages, right? So remember I mentioned those at the start. Your fears will pull you apart. They will shred you through your business if you're not constantly working on them, right? So, for instance, if you have a fear of lack, and this is really powerful for many people, fear of lack of money, fear of lack of energy, fear of lack of health, fear of lack of boundaries. We'll come on to boundaries in a moment. These are the things that will pull you apart. So, like, keep an eye on them and keep doing a little bit of work on them each week. Some of them, like my fear of lack, have been multi-generational, multi-year challenges for me, and they're really powerful to face and overcome. The last video from last week, from 2 weeks ago, really goes into more about abundance. So do check that one out as an opposition to lack. And I'm also, I've also been bringing in this new letting go of people and that are of lower vibration. So, for example, if you don't choose to work with me, that's fine. You don't need to work with me. You don't need to be a client. It's absolutely fine. So for all the rest of the world that isn't engaging with me, I let you go. You go and choose what feels right for you. And I've also had some fears about reducing my workload. So I've just been gradually facing those and I'm picking those and I've sought help. And I'll come on to some of the ways in which I've got help. And one amazing manifestation tip for abundance, right, is if you feel in lack. So, for example, if you're wanting to start a business like mine in the spiritual domain, oh, Samara Love, what a beautiful donation. Thank you so much. That's so kind. 999, I love it. Greatly appreciated. So, imagine that you want more bookings of quantum psychic healing sessions. Go and find someone, right? So I go and find, for instance, the last session I did was on Monday with Chloe Rose, and she did a quantum energy expansion session for me. So I booked that and paid for that. And you can pretty much guarantee, and it did happen for me, I got about 2 or 3 bookings around those days because the universe sees me investing in that in others. Because I'm saying, I am abundance. I am in abundance. It's an act of self love for myself. And I'm abundant at this frequency, a frequency of receiving a beautiful treatment from another practitioner at a similar frequency to me. So, so then I receive more bookings. It's genius, right? It's so cool. And also, what a beautiful message. Remember when you say to your heart, are you feeling fearful? Are you feeling lack of money? Well, this is what I do. When I feel fearful and lack, I invest in my self-love. I pay for my self-love. So what a beautiful way to do it. And you would be amazed how many, loads of my clients that come to me, they pay a lot of money for a session, right? And they will also say, please help me with my financial abundance. And I love that so much because it's such a gift to themselves. Okay, on to some of the themes that Teddy was bringing up about um, energy levels. Boundaries, 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 boundaries. Okay, so the first thing I would say, Teddy, is about I've said it many times already today. Do check out that first video of the weekly working pattern. Work out a pattern that works for you. It might be one session a month, right? Imagine you're a Jon Binnie, right? And you're doing a quantum psychic healing session for 1 hour. Imagine you did that once a month. I'm not trying to sell you uh, a business idea. I'm trying to sell the idea of find starting smaller and just gradually working your way up to a level that feels comfortable. So if your dream life is one session a month, and for me that's in my future. Maybe when I'm 67 in 17 years time, I'll do one a week or one a month, right? Until then, I'll be doing two, three, four. So, find that balance that works for you and please don't feel guilty about it, right? Explore what your heart wants, what feels right to you. So the next area I want to talk about is boundaries. So document your boundaries. Why are boundaries important, Jon? And I'm going to show you on screen in our last few minutes. We'll bring up, let me just remove this. Hi, it's all of Jon. Um, I'm going to show you my boundaries, right? And I've written these on a page on my website. Let me just bring it up. and it's under the privacy notice, rules and behavior section. So it's all these things are in one page. Now, you're going to have to work out your own boundaries. Okay. I can't do that for you. I mean, well, you could book me for a session. I could draft them with you for sure. I do that in my mentoring sessions. This is not the right page. Just one second. Share this tab instead. Show this here. Okay, good. So this privacy, I don't know how much you can read it on screen, but it says privacy notice, rules for behavior. And reading out the headlines, we respect one another. Be respectful for others' privacy. No harassment of any kind. Please only share content created by you. Be mindful if you contact site members. Please do not use drugs, including alcohol, during our sessions. Member-led group activities, and then I describe what happens if there's failure to comply with these rules of behavior. Now, you might start out with just one rule, one behavior, right? And that might just be, you got to be polite to me, right? And then imagine you go to a client session, right? And the person's really rude to you in person or online or however you do it. You can say to your heart, I wrote down a behavior, rule of behavior, and my client unfortunately didn't adhere to it. They were rude and disrespectful to me. And heart, I'm going to take action. So what happens for me if someone, when you sign up for one of my services, in fact, by watching one of these videos, you're agreeing to those rules of behavior, and I include them in my YouTube channel, the about section. I include them in my descriptions of videos. I include them when you sign up for and log in and purchase sessions with through my website. So you're not, even if you don't read them, right, which, let's be honest, it's pretty unlikely you're going to actually read them. But if you do, either way, even if you do or don't read them, you're agreeing to them. And so at very least, I can say to a client, if for some reason they breached one of these behaviors, I could say, you did agree to these. They are on my website. And I felt in this instance that you didn't. And so I can then, say to my heart, I've got your back. I'm going to take action. And so I might, choose to give the client a refund and ask that we no longer work together, or whatever steps I want to make. And remember, your heart's always watching, always listening. And safety is super important, right? So the vast majority of time I feel safe, but what do you have in place to make sure that, on that theme of boundaries, that your heart, mind, body, and soul feels safe? So for example, I do negative entity removals exorcisms. I reduce those to once a month, and that feels much safer to me. And I allow 3 days afterwards for recovery. And then for clients that I don't feel so safe with, I do constantly review with my heart, with my hand on my heart. At least once a month, I'll review my rules for behaviors as well, and talk to my heart about how I feel. And if I've had a rough client session, I'll go through that as well. Feelings of abundance. So it's really important to have like a constant, checking in on how you're feeling about abundance, and really making sure that you've got that right work-life balance. And for me, there's definitely been the ups and downs as I've brought my working life in balance with my business. So I encourage you to think through some of those as well. And then something that may shock you, but is really, really powerful for supporting your business, and that's being ready to scale. So a great question is, are you ready to receive, for example, this happened to me last November, November 2024. Are you ready to receive 5 months of bookings within 48 hours, right? And you might think, oh, I'll deal with that problem when I get to it. Well, believe you me, if that happens to you, you'll have a lot more problems than you can cope with. And I remember spending almost 24 hours responding to 48 hours responding to emails, questions about my websites, some challenges about confusions of time zones, costs in different currencies. Some of them are really small tweaks to make on my website. Some of them took a bit more effort. So now I also have some precautions processes. For example, if I go on a big podcast, like on a big YouTube channel, or if one of my videos goes viral, what I'll do is I'll just bring in my booking policies, so you can't book me beyond 6 months. Currently, I'm booked about 5.5 months in advance, up to early September. And I've also got some work to do there. I noted like tidying up autoresponders, etc. Decluttering finances and your home, these are big things that make a big difference. So doing a regular review, both of your business and your personal finances, I found really, really helpful. In part, it can help you understand what it is you want to work towards. And also like those kind of the energetic vampires of like subscriptions. I've been so bad for those in my business as well as personal life. So just making sure, your video streaming, etc. Costs, are kept uh, conscious, and you're always just aware of what's going out each month. And decluttering, decluttering your home, decluttering your physical space, decluttering the space that you work from can be really lovely ways of bringing in more abundance. And then some of the automation, we touched on this in last week's in the last session. We touched on when people book you, is it a nice smooth flow? So in abundance and flow, do you have a website where, for example, with mine, if you book me, you pay up front, it automatically books you into my calendar, my personal calendar. When I'm available, it creates a Zoom call, and it sends us both the details. So there's very little I have to do. One step I do is I check each booking manually, and I just say, thank you so much for sending me a booking. And I just eyeball it as well and make sure that what you've asked for, I can reasonably achieve, or at least try my very best, or help set the expectations for, or redirect you to another service if something is a better fit. And it also supports this kind of semi-automated processes. It's not everything's automated. I do send on a template email after every service, but I also do like a monthly reviews with Stripe and PayPal, and I make sure that there's no blockages that would limit my earnings. Um, and then also attracting and unblocking abundance. So do take a look at booking another practitioner in a similar or one of the similar practices that you do. This can really help you, as we said earlier, um, you know, help as an act of like looking after your own energy, supporting your own self development. And then finally, do simple checks like a booking button health check. So I check at least once a week that I can book on my website or book through my mobile. If it doesn't work, it's like red flag. And I did accidentally break for almost 2 weeks. I accidentally broke my website, so you couldn't book me. So I'm always checking on that and making sure it's all flowing well. So to to recap, and we're just a few minutes over the hour. Um, Please do check out this whole matrix that I've been through, the love matrix, um, as a way of starting to get an idea of the different aspects of what you can do to create a structure that's really a foundation for your dream business, and some ideas. You don't need to do all those things, and don't worry, I don't do all those 60 things like every week, right? A lot of those you can just do up front. You can start with really small versions. Even with like the boundaries, you can just say, like, you could start and say, I'm gonna do one session a week. I can have one boundary that says you must be polite. I'm gonna have one mission, which is I'm gonna help others. Like, start with a really simple aspects of each first, and then explore things over time. I never created these things with a plan. I never had a business plan, just a clear vision of how I wanted to help people, how I wanted my life to work out. And then just an exploration each day, like feeling into what are the things that bring me joy? How do they align with my mission and the goals that I have in my life? And how does it feel? Am I enjoying myself each day? And where something isn't, allow it to bring it to a natural end and let it go. And then for something that is working, do more of it if you choose, or just enjoy your life more. So yeah, thank you so much for coming along today. Please do share in the comments and your experiences, especially when you're watching the replay. And if you have requests for future topics to cover, do let me know as well. Okay, and that final announcement. So from next Tuesday, Tuesday the 24th of March, I will be doing a weekly live stream. So these live streams will combine they were the 5D Ascension class and the Heart Aligned Business Alchemy. They're combining into one live stream called the Spiritual Awakening, 5D Ascension classes and Heart Aligned Business Alchemy. And that will be co-hosted with the fantastical Chloe Rose. So it's a wonderful way to work with Chloe. And it's really our way of helping empower you on your spiritual development and your business aspects. So we're really looking forward to working together doing this. And it's a real simplification of these two live streams I've been doing, switching between the two. And I feel that now there's a strong enough base foundation of each to support you on your journeys through what we've created already. And then combining with Chloe's co-hosting abilities, it'll be so cool to support you even more broadly. So thank you so much, everyone. Wishing you all an amazing day. Do keep in touch, and I'll be back live. You will see a psychic tree talk from me tomorrow, and then I'll be along on Thursday live with the wonderful Viviane Heller. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care. Sending love.